What up, fam? It's Francisco with Team Hilote, and this is Across the Bar. And today's very special guest is Kat, the dog trainer. So I'll give her the opportunity to introduce herself and give you a little history.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm Kat, and I'm a dog trainer, and that works out very well for people to remember how to get a hold of me. It's Kat with the K. So my history is, and I forgot another important point when I was speaking with you earlier. So my father was in law enforcement, and so I was raised with German Shepherds, and I would literally go, and my father wasn't training the dogs, but his friends were. So they would always, as a little girl, they would kind of pull me in and make me think that I was involved with it. I'm sure I wasn't, but that's where my love of dogs came from. And my favorite German Shepherd was Major Maxwell Augustus. My dad was in the Marine Corps. So as life went on, and I loved dogs, I taught school for a long time out in the desert, and I would pet sit in the summertime. And then it just grew into a business I was really not expecting. I thought I was going to teach school till I went to heaven or whatever. But so I had a kennel out past the Polo Grounds. We were there for 10 years, and then the property was purchased. And so during that time, I was a dog trainer, but I became certified through a man. His name is Joel Silverman. And I always tell people to Google him. He wrote a book called What Color's Your Dog? And as this has progressed, and as I shared earlier, right before COVID hit, I was starting to work with service dogs. I'm really the PTSD and helping veterans and people. Not everybody who has PTSD is a veteran, but helping those people. That's my next goal. That's my next certification. And currently I'm also certifying what they call ESA dogs, which are emotional support animals. And I certify the therapy dogs at Animal Samaritans here in the desert.
Awesome. Oh, wow. So you're pretty busy.
Was.
Was. So great. So we'll go into the three questions then. So
Okay.
before the pandemic hit, before COVID, what was your business like?
Well, very busy, like you said. I was meeting with my clients. I was going into their homes and doing private lessons. I also do some group classes at a local pet hotel here in the desert. I never sat still, to be honest with you. And then also because of the pet sitting, with the events that were canceled, the tennis tournament and Coachella Fest, I was a busy bee. I don't like to sit still very much. So, and here I sit. That's okay.
So, what have you been doing during COVID
Yes.
to continue to stay in touch with your clients and
Right.
getting your name out there? What has worked for you?
Yeah. Well, so a couple of things that are really interesting, and I think it is going to be a blessing in disguise when this is all said and done, is I have been doing virtual classes online. I've got clients in Arizona and New Jersey, and that's been one thing that I just kind of I'm really kind of I'm not real social media oriented, so I'm figuring this out as I go. And I am doing board and train packages right now, which has been helpful because sometimes people, they honestly need a break from their dog, right now. So I have been taking one dog at a time in my home. We do a no contact drop off with the owner, and I'm being really careful with all the guidelines and all that. I'm also starting to do private lessons because things are kind of starting to open back up again. So I'm trying to be really respectful of people and where they are. And like one gal wants me to come to her house and work with the dog in the morning in the backyard, but I'm just being really careful and trying to figure out constant contact. So yeah, so that's been real important. And it's and then like I said, I'm going online to finish this other certification for the service dogs. And I'm actually hoping to do some of that, do some Zoom training with the people, because when there is a service dog, and that takes a long time to train that type of a skill. In the beginning, it's always the basic training, so I can do the basic online with people right now. That makes sense. So,
All right. Well, Zoom's great. I think keep working with Zoom. One of the best things I like about Zoom is the ability to record. So if you have
right,
a training and finish recording, you'll have this copy, and then he needs to go back at it
right. That's good.
But so question number 3, where do you see your business after COVID, once people are allowed to, get out of the house and the social distancing and
Yeah.
it goes
Well,
away?
that's a good question, and I'm glad. So I think I'm going to get really busy again, because if people have seen online during this, and I'm thankful for this too. There have been a lot of dogs adopted from the shelters because people are at home, and I know I'm going to pick back up with the service dog. I think I'm going to get busy again. I think I want to keep doing the remote training. I think that's going to be beneficial for me, but I'm going to hit the ground running. I mean, I am starting to get some feedback from people. Like I can see it's getting that way, and I don't think people are going to be traveling too much, so I'm not going to be looking at that as my income as much as I have in the past, but just the training, and then also, like, you and I talked about, is just this whole anxiety thing for the dogs. I mean, and that's kind of like one of my Zoom classes that I've got. Like it's a 3-part thing, because the dogs are, and I laugh because I actually posted something like I made my dog look like she was driving the car off, like she was like, I'm sick and tired of you, I'm out here, kind of thing. So, but yeah, they've had us around 24/7, and I can even see it with my dogs, and my dogs are, I mean, they're trained, and I can just see them kind of like when I leave to go to the grocery store now, it's like, where are you going? So we gotta work through that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think dogs don't get enough attention through this through the quarantine today. They're stuck at home just like us.
Yeah.
We go back to work, they're gonna have to adjust to that too.
Yes. Yeah.
So, last but not least, any tips that you can give
Yes.
to dog owners that are in quarantine, they're struggling to find
Yes.
to do with their dogs, and so go ahead.
That's an excellent question, and that's kind of like my favorite question these days. So so we need to, when it comes to a dog, and I like to use the acronym puppy, and I'll go through that quickly. Like when I get a new dog, when I have a new client come to me, I use the acronym puppy. And so what puppy stands for is when you first get a dog, or if you've had your dog, because see, this is what happens in life. We get so busy that we sometimes, like you said, we're not even paying attention to them. So I say puppy, and P stands for play with the dog. And that means sit on the floor, play with the dog, watch what makes the dog tick, watch what makes the dog trigger the dog, the doorbell ringing, that kind of thing. Just play with the dog, and then U stands for understand them. That's how we do that. We have to understand the doggy, and like I train dogs, and some of them don't want treats for training. They just want to play ball. So I have to kind of zone into them. And then when you're training a dog too, you practice. You have to be patient with them. Dogs have the mentality of a 4-year-old. They can understand up to 200 words. And then the Y stands for yes. So when I say yes, that's I don't use a clicker. I'm not a clicker trainer, but yes is my clicker word. So that's where people, like I say, this is the best time on the face of the earth to train your dog. I mean, come on, it's time to do it. And so what I would suggest doing, though, because dogs have to be, people take their dogs for a walk, and that's great, but dogs need to be mentally stimulated as well as physically. So, and then like I've talked to this lady yesterday, she had a pit bull and she's tiny. She was giving me all the background on that. And so I told her, we'll throw the ball, go in the backyard, throw the ball. There's a thing called a tuggy, and people can probably figure out what a tuggy is. You can buy them, any pet store, and it's like a rope where you can make your own tuggies and just, get them, play with them and get them tired. This is what I'm going to do with this gal. We're going to throw the ball and get the dog tired a little bit before we go on our walk. Okay. A tired dog is a good dog. That's another one of my favorite things to say. And then to stimulate them mentally, there's a lot of games. I mean, you can go on Amazon and there's like, you Google dog puzzles. A couple of them that I like, and this is one thing that I tell my clients is there's a thing called a Kong. It's a big red plastic firm thing, and I suggest the Kong because I have a cattle dog, and that's the one thing that Sammy has not been able to chew through. So you take the Kong, you put a couple of kibble in there, you put some peanut butter there, and put it in the freezer. Okay, I say put 4 of them in there, have 4, and you just rotate them out and clean them. But just have something that the dog can, because when you do leave, like when you do start to leave and go back to work, that will entertain them for a while. And then there's other things, like there's things you can do that, I mean, you probably have them in your house, the other thing I like to do is take like a cupcake pan and then put a treat in one of those holes and then put tennis balls in every on top of that and let the dog that's what we use for scent work. It's called scent work. You see these dogs going out, police dogs, search and rescue dogs. They start with scent work. So that's a good thing. Take a biscuit, put it in the couch, play hide and seek with the dog. Just do something to kind of, because most dogs are working dogs and they want to please us. So it's just something fun you can do. And then I've also just found out it looks like and I apologize for not explaining this better, but it looks kind of like a waffle. And so it's plastic, and then you smear peanut butter in there, you smear yogurt in there, put it in the freezer, and just, give the dog something to do. Let them be stimulated to go find something and that kind of thing. But that's things that we could be doing now too, because, I'm sure kids are home, dogs are home, everybody's driving everybody crazy. And there's a perfect example right there. So, yeah, I mean, do it with your kids. You know what I'm saying? Have them go hide the treat with the dog, and there you go. So
I'm gonna hide treats for my kids too. So Kat, how do they get a hold of you?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a website, and it's Club DSS, which stands for Down, Sit, Stay. So it's CLUB as in boy, DSS.com. They can reach out to me on Instagram. It's Kat the Dog Trainer, all lowercase with the K. And my phone number and that type of information is there. And, I would love to, and here's the thing, once I've developed a relationship with the client, I'm kind of in it to win it, so to speak. So, if they need to text me, if it's 2 weeks down the road, hey, Kat, we're going backwards here. He peed in the floor. So, I'm available like that. Like it's not a, it's, I guess, I don't know. I have a compassion for children and dogs, and I want people to be successful. My other favorite phrase is good dog, good life. We want to be able to take our dogs out in public. We want them to behave. We want to, I laugh because I taught school for so long, and, I mean, it's like, you don't want the teacher calling you at school with the kid, we got to do parent teacher conference. We want good dogs too. So, and I do believe, and I think some dogs, we have to just be patient with them, and we can't expect them to be perfect. We're not perfect. So that's kind of what I would suggest to do.
Got it. Well, fact that you were a teacher explains why you're so patient.